Hi, hello there. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am working on my October daily and I will be working on stories 16 through 20. So the first story that I'm working on today is actually going to be one that I put together in Procreate. And in a few seconds or minutes here, I will actually have the Procreate time lapse pop up on the corner of the screen as well so that you can see specifically, maybe not specifically, but kind of how it came together in Procreate. And on this one, I am documenting how many times I have made these lemon bars in October, even though they're not really a spooky treat. The image of my process is a little bit more vibrant, so I think my printer kind of lost some of that when it printed, but I think it's all right because it kind of works for the spooky aspect of it, I guess. So I am going to be adding a few embellishments to this page. I did put a few pieces of washi tape down, and then I'm going to add this Spooky Magic chipboard from Studio Calico, and I will also add a few word stickers as well that also came from Studio Calico. I am going to fold a piece of washi tape though and add it to that tag as a little like tag thing. I thought it was really cute and it blended well with the spread, and I don't really have any Halloween ribbon or anything like that. So you use what you've got, right? And so what I'm doing now is just kind of trimming it down so that it fits a little bit easier into that tag hole. And then I'll get that added and I'll use my tiny attacher to attach it, and then my tape roller to adhere this to my page. The word stickers that I'm going to be adding to this page, I believe, are Sweet Tooth and Homemade. Since I did make these from scratch, I wanted to use that homemade sticker to recognize that. And I'm also laying these out so that the colors are opposite of the table runners in the background. So I've got a black and an orange table runner in the background, so I did it orange and black with my word stickers. So moving on to story 17, this is actually going to be a currently spread. I'm going to be using the Background Elements stamp set from Close to My Heart to kind of add a little bit of texture to the background of my spread. And off camera, I used this worn wallpaper page from a Tim Holtz item. And kind of used my X-Acto knife and a ruler to cut out these little boxes. In hindsight, I wish I would have used a different paper, only because this paper is a little bit on the thinner side, and anytime I open them now, it kind of feels like I'm going to break it. So I kind of wish I used a different paper. But I do really like how this just turned out in general. So I'm stamping orange all over the background, and then I did just kind of stamp off the stamp to get like a variation in color as well. And then I printed out this marble photo or page from a digital paper pack that I purchased off of Etsy. And I'm going to use that as a background layer for my flip ups. I wanted these to look kind of like little doors and then open and kind of talk about the currently items that I had for the month of October. So I'm going to place that in the center of my marble paper, and then I will move on to adding my currently items. I liked the idea of putting these behind these little doors because I felt like the images were very colorful for these currentlies, and I didn't really want to make everything black and white. I wanted to leave the colors as is. So it's kind of hidden, but I also get to experience the colors when I open the little doors and look back on them. I just used my hole punch to kind of add a little notch there. That's probably not going to stay like that. When I finally get some circle punches, I'll probably come back in and make those look more legitimate. So the first one that I'm gluing down is going to be my Currently Playing, which is the new early release of Coral Island. I spent about half of the month reading this book, Forbidden. It was an advanced reader copy, and it took me a long time to get through it. And then my currently listening to is the new Loveless EP that I've been listening to non-stop since it came out, like non-stop. So I put that on there as well. So now I'm just getting this taped down, and then I will pull out my Text Alpha, I believe is what they're called, from Studio Calico, and I'm going to stamp out the word Currently's on the side of this image, or paper technically, and then I will use my number stamp from Heidi Swapp as well, and put 17 above Currently's. So as I'm stamping, I wanted to mention that I am trying a little bit of a new setup for my filming. I did kind of have to rearrange my whole life when I got my new computer, so I lost one of the desks that I was using to hold my camera. So yeah, what do you think? I am right now only using a ring light to film this because it was probably like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and I really wanted to work on this project. So let me know in the comments what you think about the new filming, like lighting and situations like that as well. I am also going to use this stamp. I believe it is also from Studio Calico. It's just got like a rating and then a blank space next to it. So I will go in and fill in the rating that I'm going to give for each of these currentlys, and then kind of write the name of what it is next to it as well. So Forbidden, I'm giving 2 stars because I didn't really enjoy it, but I did finish it. Coral Island, I'm giving 4 stars, only because it's an early release and there are still some flaws. And End of an Era is 5 stars because I just love it. I will also add journaling about each of those items as well, but that will be in the end photos because I printed them on clear sticker paper and I just kind of stuck them inside the door. So then I believe the last thing that I'm going to do on this particular spread is just stamp out 17 in that same orange color, and then I'm going to take my Tombow Fudanuske. I don't know if that's how you say that. I'm taking this pen and I'm going to kind of outline the 17 to make it draw out a little bit from the background, since the background stamp is orange as well. All right, and now we are moving on to my 2 favorite spreads of this whole video. So for spread 18, I'm documenting a photo of my front porch. And this is just going to be a very simple spread, but I just love the way that it came out so much. This spider paper is also a digital download paper that I got from Etsy, and I'll have that linked below if you're interested in it. And then I just have probably a little bit smaller than a 4x6 photo of our front porch. And then I have this scrap left over from the tag page, which will be story 19. So we'll see that in a few moments. And I wanted to put that behind my photo to kind of tie the 2 stories together as well. On the right hand side, you can see I've got some thread. I did do some stitching in story 19, and when I went to get the orange thread added to my sewing machine, there was a bunch of black thread just kind of left inside, so I pulled that out and I was like, I might as well use this on my spread as well. So I'm going to use some black thread and orange thread as well in this particular spread. I'm basically wrapping them around my fingers to make it more circular, and then I'm just going to kind of play around with where I want them to be placed before I get everything glued down. Here's when I realized that I didn't actually put that scrap piece of paper over as far as I had wanted to, but since I printed it on the photo paper that I use, I couldn't pull it up because it was ripping the pattern paper behind it. So I was like, you know what, let's just roll with it. I put a little bit of extra adhesive on that top right hand corner that I'm putting over the string, and I'm kind of using that as the way to keep my loose string or thread down. Then I'm pulling out this Moon and Stars sticker from this Studio Calico Puffy sticker set, and I'm going to pop that right up at the top and then add a few of these puffy stars as well. Then I believe I'm going to pull out my word stickers again, and I'm going to add a sticker that says do not enter and then danger. And I'm also going to stamp 18 in that with that same Heidi Swapp stamp set that I just used in the last spread. I realized off camera that I never actually added a title to this page. So after I'm done filming, I do come back into this particular page and stamp the word Porch right next to 18 as well. Okay, so now we are moving on to story 19, which is going to be all of the movies that we have watched throughout the month of October. And the inspiration for this movie layout came from Dearly D on YouTube, and I will have her channel linked below as well. She did almost this exact same thing, just not in an actual tag. This was her whole page in her October daily, and I am obsessed with it. I think I've watched that video like 4 times, honestly. So I wanted to give it a go myself. I did pre-cut my pockets out because I was spending so much time obsessing over it. I knew that this video would have been entirely too long if I tried to do all that on camera. So I'm going to trim down my very first pocket a little bit. I felt like everything was going a little bit too high, and then I'm going to dry place some stuff and kind of figure everything out before eventually I'm just like, you know what, let me just start going for it, because otherwise I'm going to be sitting here messing with stuff forever. So I am going to be using a little bit of red line tape that I have already on the back of some of these pockets, and then I'm going to take all of these over to my sewing machine, add some stitching like as a line for the pocket. And then I'm going to use the red line tape to kind of keep my movies from going too far in to the pockets themselves. I want to be able to see the movie pictures, so I didn't want them to kind of disappear into pockets. So I'm doing one more dry placing before I actually start adhering all of these pockets. And goodness, as soon as this is finished, I am so in love with it. So in love. I'm going to use my pencil to mark down that first pocket, and then I'm going to use my dot liner to kind of just fill in the rest of the space underneath where my red line tape is. And then right now I'm just kind of testing to make sure that the movie photos are fitting as I like them to. And then I'm going to kind of dry place my next 2 pockets just to make sure that everything lines up the way that I want, and get those adhered down as well. For my movie images, what I did was I printed out the movies themselves, the movie covers themselves. I believe it was 2 inches or maybe 1.5 inches. It might be 1.5 inches in width. And then I just very roughly placed them on a piece of white paper and cut around it, just hand cut around it, not worrying about if my lines were straight. I wanted them to be a little bit wonky, so I was just kind of winging it. So if you look hard enough, you can see that some of them are not straight, and I really like the way that that looks. That's exactly how I wanted it to be. So I did take my tag back over to my sewing machine and stitch around the whole tag. And then after I was done stitching, I also switched my machine over to a zigzag stitch and picked some random spots around the tag to just add some yellow or orange zigzags. And I love it. And then this piece of scrap that I cut off from my bottom pocket at the very beginning of this layout, I'm going to use that as a tag. So I'm going to kind of trim the edges at an angle and then adhere that down with my tiny attacher as well. I feel like I spent forever cutting off random threads in this video. I even come back, I think, again and cut off some more threads. I'm not sure, but I had a lot of them on here. So I have this striped tag as well. Originally, this was what I was going to use as my tag base, but I felt like it was just too busy. Since I already had it cut out, I didn't want to get rid of it, and I really liked it behind my original tag, so I kind of just turned it into a background element instead of the main tag. And then you can see there's my extra threads that I somehow missed the first time around, the first 2 times around. So now I'm kind of just placing all my movies in and seeing what we've got going on. So some of the spooky movies that we watched this month, I watched both Hocus Pocus movies. We watched Edward Scissorhands. My kids have watched The Nightmare Before Christmas every single day this month. Every single day, no joke. My husband picked Alien Abduction for our movie nights. And then we also had a movie night with friends where we watched It Chapter 2. I hate horror movies. I have such an overactive imagination and I can't do them. So I don't normally watch them. That's why everything else that's on this spread is not scary at all. But you know, I went out of my comfort zone and watched a couple this month. So here we go. I also watched Halloween Town as well because that was a childhood favorite of mine. So I wanted to go back and watch that too. I did add a die cut ticket to the bottom and then some word stickers as well. And then I'm also going to add this die cut like ticket again between my 2 movies at the top as well. I do tape that down a little bit later, but as of right now, it's not taped down. Then I'm going to take my alphabet stamps from Amazon and I'm going to stamp out October movies. And then on the other side of that stamp towards the edge, I'm going to write 19. And then I'm going to use the colon and place that as dots in between all of the blank spaces as well. Off camera, I do come back and add some orange stars because I felt like the blank space was a little bit much on this particular spread. I felt like it just needed something else. So I do come back in and just add a few stars here and there. I didn't add a ton, but it really brought everything together in my opinion. So now I'm just kind of looking and seeing if there's anything else that I want to add. And I do decide to add a little bit of washi tape to 2 of the corners. And it's going to be just a black grid washi tape and then the X's and dots washi tape from the Studio Calico Halloween kits. And then you just saw that the stars were added there. So then we are done with that spread and moving on to our final one of this video, which is going to be another kind of hybrid spread. This is another image that I created in Procreate, and you can see me creating it up in the corner of my video. I printed this out, and I'm going to kind of add some scrap black paper to the corners of the top and the bottom, just to give it a little bit more character because I didn't really add a ton of extra embellishments to this particular spread. This story, I am documenting all of the goodie bags that I made for my son's class. My sister-in-law bought us a ton of party favors for my son's birthday, and we had so many extra that I reached out to my son's teacher and asked how many kids were in the class. And then Oliver and I sat down and kind of filled up the baggies, and I made these tags in Photoshop and printed them out, and we sent in a bunch of little Halloween baggies on Halloween for him to take into school. So I wanted to document that because I took a really cute picture of the bags, And yeah, I really like the way this one came out. So since all of the tags have little ghosties on it, I thought this ghost puffy sticker would be perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. And then I'm going to add some word stickers. I add a black one that I think says party time. I wish I would have stopped here, but I don't. And I can't really take the stickers off now. So, so I add this black one that says party time. And then I take one that says Halloween is a real treat. And I cut it up and kind of make like layered versions of it. I kind of layer it around the other font. And I just kind of feel like it's a little bit much, but it's fine. It still came out really cute. Maybe I'll come back in and just add another black sticker to the bottom to just kind of like sort that out. All right. But that's the last spread that I've got going on today. I'm going to go ahead and show you a little flip through of all of them, and then I'll have some flat lay pictures at the end. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite spread was. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.